Good morning. 44 degrees out this morning, high of 53. Yesterday it never got into the 50s. I think the high was 48 and it was rainy and yucky, and today it's supposed to kind of be like that. And I had to turn the heat on yesterday. We have radiant heat inside the harvest house and I had it running to get everything warmed up. And then last night the circulator pump that circulates all the water and the radiant heat started making a ton of noise. So we got to figure out what is up with that. I had to shut it off so the house never got warmed up last night, or warmed up from the heat. It's like 67 this morning, which is fine, but I hate to admit it, but it's that time of the year and we're not going to be getting very warm anymore. I'm not seeing anything above 60. I see one day is 60, like out there. We're going to be in 40s and 50s for the next like 10 days. So we're going to get this heat working. I'm not sure if the circulator pump pooped out on us or not. I do have a backup circulator pump, so we're going to get that swapped out and get this heat fixed today because we want to have a warm house. I don't like having a chilly house. I'm glad we got all the metal roof up yesterday, and now we can work on fixing the heat, and this is all done. It feels good to have the metal roof on because now the concrete's going to dry out. Hopefully we can get that sealed before the freezing weather shows up. And now we're at a good point that no matter what the weather brings, we can finish up the barn addition, the chicken coop, the pig run, the cow barn addition, and the other part. We can get that done whenever. The weather doesn't matter at this point. That's a good feeling. All right, I got the circulator pump on. You can hear it making a noise. It was making a lot louder noise last night. So I'm thinking it was getting hot, and that's what made it make that noise. So we're gonna go through and I'm gonna actually try to bleed out, see if we got any air in the system first, see if that takes care of anything, and then we'll keep an eye on the pump and see how that goes. But let's get this hooked up and we'll run some more water through it, bleed out any air that is in the system. So I want to see if we have any air in the system. I know last year we had a little bit, but what I'm wondering is our heat exchange stays hot year-round because we keep our outdoor wood boiler on year-round for hot water. So the hot water comes in from the outdoor wood boiler into this heat exchange over to this one and then back outside. So I'm wondering if it's just kind of cooked off the water in the system and if we're kind of just pushing air. And if we have air in the system, the pump's going to heat up, and if the pump heats up, it usually ends up whining. So that's what we're going to try first. We'll bleed the system, see if there's any air in there, and then if we have to, we'll replace the pump. But let's hook up and get this bled first. So we have our return manifold and our supply manifold. They both have a place to hook up a garden hose. And I have a 3-gallon-ish bucket full of water that will pump through the manifold and all the PEX line. This will be the feed. You coming to help, Arlo? All right, so right here we can open that one up. Open that one a little bit. We'll turn that on. Nope, she's a leaking. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Why is that a leaking? Turn these all closed again. Try a different hose maybe. All right, for some reason those hoses do not want to tighten up on that end, so we're going to try these hoses. That is tight. I'm not sure. These ones won't tighten up enough, so there's a gap, and then you don't get a good seal. And then I get water all over the place. All right, so now let's try that again. Dry my hand off. Open that up. Got some more air coming out, and I can hear some over here. some more air. All right, there's definitely some air in the system. I can hear it still working its way out. I'm thinking I'm gonna turn the heat circulator pump on and see if that'll help circulate any more of this air out. Still got some air coming out. All right, I can feel the hot water here. I can feel warm water here. I can feel it warm here. And then over here, it is definitely cold. So it is starting to circulate a little bit now. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this, see if this is circulating, see if this gets quieter. The pump could be junk too. So what it does is it circulates the water that's in the PEX piping all up here into the heat exchange and then back down through the floor. So when it's going in the floor, it'll be going down in warm and then it'll be coming back out colder. So we got temperature gauge here and here. You should be able to see a temperature difference on the two. So like this one right now going in, it's almost 80 degrees and coming out it is 72. So once we get everything mixing better, we'll probably see a bigger difference in the temperatures, but that is still a lot louder than it's ever been. So I'm gonna keep that running. Yep, we got more air coming out. So I'm gonna keep that running, try to bleed the system down, see if that gets quieter. If it doesn't, we will replace that because we don't wanna listen to that noise. So we got 80 degrees and 72. So I started out this bucket with warm water. It is cold right now, so it's taking out floor water, and then the bucket should heat back up once we get the hot water circulated all the way through the system and back in here. All right, going in temperature is climbed up to 94, and then that's still sitting around 72. I've had this running now for about half hour, letting the water flush, so I want to go ahead and shut everything off, see if this gets quieter. I'm not seeing any more air come out of this, so let's just close this one. Shut off the pump. And that made that pump a lot quieter. I don't know if you guys could hear that. That's definitely down to a lot better decibel level. So we're up to like 98 degrees. This one's at 70. This bucket water is feeling warmer. I don't know what the temperature is, but touching it by hand, it's warmed up some. So I know we've gotten a good amount of the water circulated. No more air bubbles are coming out. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm gonna keep everything hooked up, so if I need to flush it again, we can. We have used our first IBC tote of firewood up. This tote was filled with firewood that was from last year and the year before, and it was all not wet when we burnt it, but some of it had been really wet. It was pretty punky wood. It wasn't the best, so the wood is punky like that. It burns really fast, so we burnt through this. And probably took us like a month and a half to use up this container. And if it was fresh wood, it would have lasted longer. So we did go down below, swap that IBC tote out for a new one because we're gonna be burning a lot more now that I got the heat on. What a change in weather the last couple of days. Last week it was so nice, it was like 70s, almost 80s, and now like this week it is 40s and 50s and a lot of clouds. But I wanted to flip this around so now I can pick it up from this end. So when we go to put it in the firewood shed, this end is facing the outdoor wood boiler, so I can just reach in here and conveniently grab the wood and put it in the outdoor boiler. So I just wanted to drop it down, re-pick it the way I have them put over here. You gotta grab them for that end, switch it around, but not a big deal, just an extra step. So let's grab this way and then we'll head back up. All right, since we got the wood up here, I might as well put some wood in the boiler. And then we'll go inside, we'll check to see how the circulator pump is doing. Since we're running back and forth right now, let's get into the 574. I still got the bale grapple on that. We'll go grab a bale of hay. I don't think the cows need it yet, but they're gonna need it later on. So we'll get that up here so when they need it, we're ready for them. Yeah, and then we'll go inside. We'll check and see how the circulator pump's doing. We got a text message from Gina. She says she thinks it's starting to get a little bit louder. So we'll get the hay, then we'll go inside, check on that and see what we think. We'll leave that hay bale here for now. We'll need it either later today or tomorrow is my guess. When we need it, we have it up here. It is so nice having that area down below. All right, I had to run out and pick up a load. These will be for an upcoming video, but I had to go get these while the weather is nice. I'm supposed to be getting some more rain in a couple of days, so figured I better run out, pick up this stuff. I'm not sure if that's the best place for them, but that's where they're going to go for now. It is nice having the 754 because that thing can pick up over 3,000 pounds. The 574 can pick up around 1,500. I don't know if the 574 would have picked those up because those weigh 2,000 pounds. So it's nice having the bigger tractor here. It makes moving stuff around so much easier. crazy windstorm going on right now. Hopefully it don't last long. Good morning. It is windy out right now. We're getting 20-mile-per-hour winds. Ooh-wee. What a crazy morning. Can't believe this weather. It looks like the roof is still on the barn. I'm hoping that this wind stops because we got some outside work we need to do. And it is getting pretty crazy out this morning. All right, it's time to give the cows the hay bale. I ended up having to bleed the radiant heating system one more time. There's a couple of tiny little bubbles in there. They must have been in the circulator pump, and they were making it sound like gritty sand. Once I got those done last night, it is completely quiet when the circulator pump is running. And then I shut it off because it's like 55 degrees out right now. Tonight it's supposed to get down to 32, and then for like the next week, we're gonna be in the 30s at night and 50s and 40s for a high. So I'm glad we got the heat up and running. Everything seems to be going good with it. I think the big issue is with it is the hot water stays running through that heat exchange all year round. So that's been hooked up for over 2 years now. I just think over time in the summertime sitting, it must just kind of evaporate off the water a little bit. So I'll have to keep an eye on that, and probably every other year, just rebleed the system. Not a big deal. It's just a little bit time consuming, but it's pretty simple to do. It just takes a decent amount of time running water through it to get all the air bubbles out, but that is done. And now we gotta put the track back on the excavator. All right, so I'm gonna have to clean this out, get all the dirt out of there. We gotta put that wheel, which is over there, back in here. I gotta open that out, and there's a grease fitting that expands and contracts the track right here. So I'm gonna have to take that apart. We'll probably make a mess. Let me go grab a few tools. All right, so I've put a track back on that has been like halfway fallen off. I've never putting a track on that's been completely fallen off. We're gonna see how this goes, but let's clean everything up first. All right, now let's take off this cover and see how much grease we gotta clean out. All right, we're just gonna take that plate completely off, clean up all the gook. All right, so inside here there's a relief valve, and then there's a zerk fitting. So you fill this with grease, and this like a piston that pushes that wheel that's over there in and out to put tension on. So we gotta take out at least one of those fittings to get the pressure off. And basically, this arm right here should sink back in, and that's what pushes the wheel in and out. All right, that's like a bleeder valve-ish kind of thing. So I got that all the way out. Nothing's coming out of it. So let's set that there, and I think I'm gonna have to push that in. I don't know if I can try prying it in, pushing it in, or if I'm gonna have to put the wheel there and then try pushing it in with the excavator. Let's see what works. Nope. That ain't working either. Come on. All right, we're getting some grease out. That's working. Slowly, but surely. All right, let's see if we can use this to push on. Sweet, we got it. I don't know if you saw that on camera, I missed it, but look at that big old glob of grease. All right, that definitely beat hitting it with a sledgehammer. The sledgehammer was slow. I don't know if we caught it on camera, we'll find out in editing, but all the grease came out. Let me get that mess cleaned up, I can get the wheel in, and then we can get the track over here. I knew this was gonna be the messy part. It holds a lot of grease. Before we lose anything, let's get everything put back in, because this is all important, very important stuff, Brutus. Do I smell good? Bam, I like that. That is in a lot. All right, they delivered the track. Got it right here. We'll bring it over. Actually, let me go get some tin snips. We'll cut the bands off. Then we can get it over and get it installed. We gotta make sure it's going the right direction. So we're gonna want it that in the front up, if that makes sense, right? I'll double check when we get over there, but I'm pretty sure that up, over. I thought you'd be a little heavy. Weighs a few 100 pounds. All right, we get the tractor out of the way. If I have to, I can use the pallet forks after to move it, but I'm hoping we can kind of get it without having to do that. Arr! Arr! Come on. There we go. Stay like this. All right. We're getting there. All right, that's pretty good. All right, we're on the back cog. We're sitting on the center roller, a whisker. I think if I lower the excavator down, it'll stretch the track out by taking up all that extra space. Okay. So close, so close. Sorry if the audio is not the best. The camera blew over in all this wind and I broke my mic off. I have another one inside, but I'm not ready to go in yet and get one. So that end I got on. I'm thinking maybe if this ground was more level, it might have been a little bit easier. I kept having to shim up spots because it was sagging down the low spots, and that was taking up my slack for the track. So once I was able to get it shimmed up nicely, I was able to pop that end on. It's too bad they didn't give you a little bit more room with that piston. So I'm gonna go grab my grease gun. Let's get this greased up, tightened up. I'll spin it around and make sure it's good, but I want to get some grease in it first. Let's put some more grease in there. That track's still a little bit loose. We spun it, everything is good. Set it back down, and now I know we need some more grease in there, some more tension. But yeah, let's get it greased up. Let's get the excavator all greased up while we got the grease gun out. It's looking good. Then I'll get the cover on, and yeah, it's gonna be ready for working again. We got the front of the excavator, the arm, and then the two that go underneath all greased. I gotta do the blade now. That needs to get greased up. Then that'll be done. I think I'm gonna add some more grease to the track. There's a little bit of slack now that I'm seeing that I can take out, and then we can cover that up. I had to spin the excavator around so that way I could get 1, 2, 3 more zerts that were under the machine when it was spun around backwards, if that makes sense. So, boys, it's been a crazy windy day today. I'm glad we got the new track on. It feels good to have that on. It went a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a struggle. If there's any easier ways of doing it, let me know. I almost tried using my pallet forks to kind of pick it up and push it on, but I was afraid I'd end up damaging something, so I said, you know what, let's just do it by hand. It might have went a lot easier using the pallet forks. My biggest issue is that the ground isn't level, so when I was having the track down, there was a lot of like divots, so it was taking up a lot of the slack of the track. So maybe by having it on the pallet forks, it would have had it suspended better, been easier to put on. I'm not sure, but we got it on. It's done. If you have any other tips or tricks for installing a track, maybe I can use it if I got to put another one on, or if this one falls off at some point. But I am glad it is done. We can start doing some of the other projects now with it. We need to finish up grading off down here, but that's not going to happen today because this took me a lot longer than I thought. The heat should be working good, I hope, because we're going to be needing it soon. But this is where we got to end this video. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homestead. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and we'll see you right back here in the next video. Bye.